Ace Frehley, born with the name Paul Daniel Frehley, was a super famous American guitar player. He's best known as the first lead guitar player and the spaceman character in the rock band Kiss. He helped make Kiss really popular in the 1970s with his amazing fiery guitar playing and his cool silver spaceman face paint. Later on, he also had a great music career on his own. His 1978 album with his own name on it had the big hit song New York Groove. In this video, we're going to learn all about Ace's amazing life. We'll start from when he was a kid in the Bronx, then see how he became a rock star, and finally talk about when he died peacefully on October 16, 2025. We'll learn about his family when he was young, how he got famous, what he loved to do, the hard times he went through, and what he left behind for us to remember. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you won't miss our future videos about rock legends. Before we keep going, remember to like, share, and write in the comments below about your favorite Ace Frehley song or memory. Now let's start Ace's story from the very beginning. His early life and family. Ace Frehley was born as Paul Daniel Frehley on April 27, 1951 in the Bronx, New York. He was the youngest kid out of 3 children. His parents were named Esther, her maiden name was Hecht, and Carl Frehley. Carl worked as an electrical engineer, which means he worked with electricity and wires, and he also loved playing the church organ. Esther stayed home and took care of the family. Music was a big deal in their family. Ace's dad and mom both knew how to play the piano. His older brother Charles played classical guitar. His sister Nancy, who got married and changed her last name to Salvin, also played piano. Being around all this music had a huge effect on young Paul. He got his very first electric guitar as a Christmas present in 1964 when he was 13 years old. Right away, he became totally obsessed with learning how to play it just by listening to music. He grew up in a working-class neighborhood in the Bronx, on Marion Avenue near Bedford Park Boulevard. Paul went to Grace Lutheran School and showed early talent in art and creative stuff. He was really good in his high school art classes. But when he was a teenager, he also got into trouble and rebelled a lot. He got kicked out of 2 different high schools. One was called DeWitt Clinton High School, and the other was Roosevelt High School. Then he dropped out of a 3rd high school before he could get his diploma. During these rough times, he got mixed up with local street gangs. But he always said that music and playing guitar actually saved his life and kept him from getting into worse trouble. It was also in high school that Paul got his nickname Ace, that everyone called him forever. His friends noticed that he was really good at getting dates for himself and helping his friends get dates too. He was always an ace at dating and romance, so the name stuck with him. Paul Frehley became Ace Frehley. He loved the nickname and made it part of his big, exciting personality. When he was young, Ace listened to rock and blues music legends like Jimi Hendrix, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, and The Who. Actually, after he went to see Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels in concert as a teenager, with The Who playing before them, Ace decided right then and there that he wanted to be a rock star. From that moment on, he practiced guitar all the time and started playing in local bar bands. His big break with Kiss. In early 1973, Ace Frehley went to try out in New York City for a new band. That would become Kiss. Gene Simmons, who played bass, and Paul Stanley, who played rhythm guitar and sang, had already hired a drummer named Peter Criss. They were looking for a lead guitar player who had style and confidence. Ace walked into the audition wearing sneakers that didn't match, one orange and one red. Then he completely blew everyone away with an amazing guitar solo on the song called Deuce. His playing was so awesome that Gene and Paul knew right away they had found their guitar player. 1 week later, Ace officially joined the band, and the Kiss lineup was complete. The story goes that Ace also designed Kiss's famous lightning bolt logo using his graphic art skills. Paul refined it a bit later, but either way, that symbol became one of the most recognizable logos in all of rock music. Right from the start, Ace's stage presence and guitar playing stood out from everyone else. He created this spaceman character for himself, like a silver-faced astronaut. His idea for the spaceman makeup and costume came from his love of science fiction, computers, and space exploration. These were interests he kept his whole life. On stage, Ace would ride a jetpack, shoot off rockets, play a smoking Les Paul guitar, and shoot fireworks from his guitar. These exciting special effects were what everyone remembered from his performances. Kiss's first album, called Kiss, 1974, had Ace's first song that he wrote, the hard rock classic Cold Gin. But Ace was too shy to sing it himself, so Gene Simmons sang the main vocals instead. On the second album, Hotter Than Hell, 1974, Ace wrote two songs called Parasite and Strange Ways. But again, he let his bandmates sing them instead of singing them himself. It wasn't until the 1975 album Dressed to Kill that Ace finally sang lead vocals. He helped write and sang the intro to a song called Rock Bottom. Later in 1976 with Destroyer, and in 1977 with Rock and Roll Over, he really came into his own. He wrote songs like King of the Nighttime World, Hooligan, Tomorrow and Tonight, and most famously, Shock Me on the 1977 Love Gun album. Shock Me was a song inspired by a real accident when Ace got an electric shock on stage. Shock Me became Ace's first official hit song where he was the lead singer, and fans loved watching the spaceman character shake and power up his Les Paul guitar during the guitar solo. His solo career and later music projects. In late 1978, Kiss surprised everyone by having each band member release their own solo album. Ace Frehley's solo album, called Ace Frehley, was the most successful one out of all four. It had his signature song New York Groove, which was a cover song with a really catchy hook that got into the top 20 on the music charts. This album went platinum, which means it sold over 1 million copies and showed that Ace could be successful outside of the band. He played most of the instruments himself, including drums and bass on some songs, and he even helped produce the album. The success of New York Groove made Ace a famous name even beyond just Kiss fans. After he left Kiss in 1982 because of creative differences and feeling exhausted, Ace took some time off from music. By 1984, he came back to music with a new band called Frehley's Comet, which he was the leader of. Their first album with the same name, 1987, had a melodic rock sound and another hit song for Ace called Into the Night, which got onto the Billboard Hot 100 chart. The next album, called Second Sighting, 1988, included a well-known song called We Got Your Rock, with words written by Paul Stanley. In 1989, he released an album called Trouble Walkin', which was his first album that just said Ace Frehley again, instead of Frehley's Comet. Songs like Stranger in a Strange Land and the main song with the album's name became favorites on rock radio stations. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Ace kept releasing music and going on tour, even though he often had to deal with health problems and money problems. He even got back together briefly with his old Kiss bandmates in 1995 to 1996. The original lineup, Ace, Gene, Paul, and Peter, got back together for the hugely successful Kiss Alive worldwide reunion tour in 1996 to 1997. Ace designed new updated stage effects and played the Space Ace character on stage during the reunion. This tour gave his career new energy and reminded fans how important he was to the band. After the reunion, Ace stayed somewhat distant from Kiss, but he showed up for special occasions sometimes. He performed with Kiss at big events like the 1999 MTV Video Music Awards and Rock TV specials. In 2014, Ace and the original Kiss lineup were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which officially recognized their importance to rock music. For the induction ceremony, Ace gave a special speech where he called Gene Simmons his first guitar hero. Even into the 2000s and 2010s, Ace kept making music. He released solo albums like Anomaly, 2009, and Space Invader, 2014. His last original studio album was called 10,000 Volts, which came out in February 2024. It was produced by Warren Hjort, and Paul Stanley helped write a couple of the songs. He was also working on a covers album called Origins Volume 4 when he passed away. Ace kept going on tour even at age 74, until September 2025. He still showed the same fiery style and signature rocket guitar performances that had made him famous all those years ago. His personal life and interests. Outside of music, Ace Frehley lived a pretty private personal life. He got married to an actress named Jeanette Trerotola on May 10, 1976, when Kiss was at the height of their fame. Jeanette was an Italian-American model and actress. The couple had only one child together, a daughter named Monique, who was born on July 9, 1980. Ace was a loving and dedicated father to Monique, and the two had a very close relationship. Fans often noticed how they were almost like best friends. They even got matching tattoos that said AC to show their special bond. Even though Ace and Jeanette got divorced later on because of the typical rock and roll pressures of the 1980s, they stayed friendly with each other. Jeanette was even with Ace during his final days. Ace almost never talked publicly about having any other long-term relationships after Jeanette, and he mostly focused on music and family. He had a big circle of rock friends and people he worked with, but not many public romances after the 1970s and 80s. Growing up in a musical family also had spiritual influences on him. Ace told people in interviews that he was raised Lutheran, which is a type of Christianity. His father even taught Sunday school, and Ace went to church every Sunday when he was a boy. As an adult, he joked that, like many teenagers, he stopped going to formal church after puberty, but he always kept his faith in God. In a 2009 interview, he said, "I was brought up a Lutheran, but I still have a faith in God, and it's got me through some tough times." Actually, in January 2024, Ace posted his New Year's resolutions online, which included wanting to get closer to God and practice taking care of himself. This showed his turn toward positive thinking and faith in his later years. His death. In late September 2025, Ace Frehley fell down at his home studio in New York, and at first it seemed like it wasn't too serious. He told fans on social media on September 25th that he was fine, but he would have to cancel a concert the next day because the doctor told him to. Just a few weeks later, on October 6, 2025, Ace announced he was canceling the rest of his tour because of continuing medical problems. Behind the scenes, doctors had found out that he had bleeding in his brain caused by the fall. Ace was put on life support, but his condition stayed really serious. Sadly, on October 16, 2025, Ace Frehley passed away peacefully at age 74 in Morristown, New Jersey, with his loved ones around him. When he passed away, Ace's net worth was estimated to be around $1 million. Even though he spent decades in one of rock's most famous bands, Ace had financial ups and downs over the years. In 2013, he lost a big home in Yorktown, New York because the bank took it away after he couldn't pay the mortgage. He had also owned before that a huge 6,400 square foot mansion in Connecticut that had 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, and an underground recording studio. That house later became a famous Airbnb that people could rent. Despite these money setbacks, Ace lived comfortably in his later years and stayed passionate about music more than caring about material wealth. If you enjoyed this detailed look at Ace Frehley's life and legacy, please hit that like button. Let us know in the comments which Ace Frehley song or moment is your favorite. And make sure to share this video with your friends who love rock music. Don't forget to subscribe for more music documentaries and click the bell icon to get notified when we release our next video.